Why does your hamster stare so quietly, as if that tiny face has already figured out something about you? That moment usually happens at dusk when the room softens and your hamster steps out like a careful thought. It plants its paws, lifts its nose, and fixes those black eyes on you without blinking much. To us, that stillness feels uncanny, because humans treat long eye contact as intention, memory, even judgment. But a hamster is not trying to read your secrets the way another person ever might. It is doing something smaller, older, and far more animal, checking whether the world still feels safe. For prey animals, looking hard is often the first step before moving, eating, climbing, or trusting. Your hamster pauses because motion can wait, but information cannot when survival is involved at all. In that tiny pause, as its whiskers test the air while its ears sample sounds, you barely notice. The stare feels personal, yet most of it begins as simple sensory work first for it. Hamsters do not see the room the way you do in bright, human detail at all. Their eyes are built better for dimness than sharp distance, especially in evening light around them. So when your hamster stares, it is not studying your face like a portrait at all. It is collecting contrasts, shadow, movement, outline, the shift of your shoulder, the sudden shape of your hand. And because hamsters are short-sighted, stillness helps them gather more from less in front of them. That can make their gaze look wiser than it is when really it is simply slower for them. A hamster also leans heavily on smell, which means your presence arrives before your shape does. Your skin, your soap, more your sleeves, even the food on your fingers become part of the picture. So that stare may begin with the nose, not the eyes, long before your hamster commits to moving. It holds still to sort scent from memory. Familiar, human, familiar, room, familiar evening patterns tonight. Hearing matters too, and hamsters notice soft clicks, fabric, rustles, and floor vibrations before we think. If you shifted in your chair seconds earlier, your hamster may still be processing that change. What looks like staring can actually be listening with the whole body held quiet for a beat. Notice the whiskers angled forward, the nose twitching, the chest barely moving between breaths right now. That is not mystical focus. It is a tiny surveillance system deciding what matters most next. Wild instincts still whisper inside pet hamsters. And even when the danger is only your coffee mug moving. In nature, sudden movement can mean predator, collapse, conflict, or a chance to disappear underground fast. So their first wisdom is not bravery. It is careful hesitation before motion every time. They stop, watch, and wait for the world to explain itself one more second to them. That pause is why a hamster can seem strangely thoughtful, almost older than its size to us. Sometimes your hamster is staring because it has noticed you before you noticed it at all. That creates the eerie feeling that it was waiting there with an answer for you already. But what it really has is a head start on scent, vibration, and routine cues instead. Hamsters are small enough that certainty must come in little pieces before they relax at all. As a long look is often how those pieces get assembled inside its mind for safety. Another reason for the stare is restraint, because hamsters rarely rush when unsure about something nearby. If the room is too bright, the hand too fast, or the smell too new, they freeze. Freezing is not emptiness, it is active caution inside a very vulnerable small animal body. In that state, the eyes stay on the possible source while the muscles stay ready. To a human, readiness can look like meaning written on a face for no reason. There is also the simple possibility that your hamster wants something from the routine again now. Food time teaches many hamsters to watch the human before the bowl, scoop, or packet appears. They learn your footsteps, your lamp turning on, your chair scraping back, your hand reaching higher. When those clues line up, they stare, because prediction has already started inside them quietly. They are not reading your mind, they are reading the pattern around your mind instead. That is why the stare can happen seconds before feeding, opening, or handling begins each evening. A hamster who knows the sequence often looks impressively intentional, to us in that moment there. Really, it is a creature of routine, noticing the doorway to the next event arrives soon. Even tiny pets feel calmer when life becomes predictable to them every night there. So sometimes that stare is simply expectation wearing a serious little face in your direction tonight. Trust changes the stare too, and this is where the moment becomes tender for both of you. A nervous hamster looks hard to stay safe, but a familiar hamster can look hard to stay connected. Yet it has learned that your smell often arrives with food, warmth, slower hands, and no harm. That does not mean it understands you like a human friend would understand another. It means your presence has moved from uncertain to familiar inside its tiny nervous system. Familiarity creates room for longer looks, because panic no longer has to interrupt every second. The hamster can finally spare attention for you instead of spending all of it on danger. That shift feels emotional because, in a way, it is to this species too. Safety is one of the deepest feelings any prey animal can experience around another living being. When your hamster stares calmly, it may be measuring a world that has grown less frightening. There is another sweet possibility. Your hamster is waiting for your next move because you matter in its routine. Not symbolically and not romantically, but practically, repeatedly and clearly inside its small daily world. You are the giant creature linked with openings, fresh water, scattered seeds and changing smells. That makes you important in hamster terms, which are simple, physical and surprisingly sincere to them. So the stare can be less about mystery and more about relevance in that moment. Many owners mistake this seriousness for human-like depth, but animal depth looks different up close. A hamster's world is made from survival questions, asked over and over in tiny forms. Is that sound safe? Is that shadow known? Is that hand gentle? Is tonight predictable? Those questions are not philosophical, but they are still profound inside a small life somehow. Because for a small animal, its survival and feeling are never very far apart from each other. That is why being watched by a hamster can feel strangely moving to many people. Its silence leaves room for your own emotions to rush in without much warning at all. You start imagining wisdom there because the gaze is steady and the body is so small. Fragile creatures often make us feel protective, and protection can quickly turn into projection. We place old souls into little faces when those faces stay quiet long enough for us. But your hamster is not pretending to be mysterious for your benefit at all there. Its honesty is exactly what makes the moment feel so pure to you sometimes. The stare is real, even if the meaning is simpler than we imagine at first. Simpler does not mean shallow. It means grounded in the body and immediate sensation alone. In animals, our truth often arrives through posture long before it becomes a story inside our minds. Still, not every stare means comfort, and this matters more than people think. A tense body, flattened posture, or frantic nose twitching can mean your hamster feels conflicted. It may want the treat but dislike the brightness, height, smell, or speed around it. That kind of stare is less connection and more negotiation with the situation right now. The hamster is weighing reward against risk, which is a very different feeling for its body. If you see that tension, the kindest response is to slow everything down for a moment. Let your hand rest lower, keep your voice soft, and give the stare room to soften first. A hamster that feels choice will often relax faster than one being urged toward you. That is important. But because trust grows from repeated safety, not forced closeness between species. The stare becomes softer when the hamster no longer has to defend itself from possibilities. There are also times when unusual staring deserves a closer look from you or a vet. If your hamster seems dull, wobbly, puffed up, or oddly unresponsive, that is different entirely. A healthy pause looks alert, but a sick pause can look faded to careful eyes. The eyes may stare without curiosity, as though the body has less energy behind them. That is when behavior stops being symbolic and starts being practical information for care. You know your hamster's normal rhythm better than anyone else in the room most nights. So if the stare feels wrong rather than simply intense, trust that instinct inside you. Warm curiosity looks very different from silent distress once you have seen both a few times. The gentle version has brightness in it, however small the animal may be to us. The troubled version seems to withdraw even while the eyes remain open and fixed there. Most of the time, though, the famous hamster stare is neither spooky nor supernatural at all. It is a meeting point between instinct, attention, routine, and the fragile work of trust. Your hamster looks at you because you are part of its environment now every evening. Not the whole world, but a meaningful part of it to that little creature. A source of patterns, smells, sounds, openings, and sometimes comfort for a small prey animal. When it stares, it may be asking the oldest animal question there is right then. Hey, is this moment safe enough for me to continue being myself here with you nearby? And when the answer keeps becoming yes, the stare slowly changes shape over many quiet evenings. It turns from vigilance into familiarity, from caution into a small kind of peace there. That is the secret inside the look that feels so deep to us at first. Your hamster is not hiding cosmic knowledge behind those black bead eyes after all. It is showing you how much meaning can live inside attention for a tiny mammal. In a creature this small, attention is almost the same thing as survival itself daily. And survival, when it finally feels easier, can look a lot like quiet trust there. So the next time your hamster stops and studies you from the bedding at dusk again, try not to rush the moment by filling it with human drama right away. I see the whiskers working, the ears listening, the body deciding very quietly in place. See the tiny animal balancing caution against comfort in real time right before you. See how much intelligence can exist without words and how much trust without touch too. Then the stare becomes less eerie and more beautiful than it first seemed. Not because the hamster knows some hidden truth about you deep inside at all anymore, but because in its small and careful way, it has made room for you there. And for an animal built to be cautious, that is no small thing at all. The stare is not a prophecy, it is a fragile bridge between safety and closeness. And maybe that is why it feels as if your hamster knows something after all.